Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hey, Sadiq. Ronan, Alexander, Hex. How you guys doing? So, Monday, that's coming up, is month end, right? Am I right? Yeah, Monday is the 30th, Tuesday is the 31st. So, there are implications. It's the end of the month, it's also the end of the quarter. So, it might have been a difficult quarter for some people on the street. That does happen. And when that happens, they will do things at the end of the month to make their quarter. Now, you don't want to get caught up in that or try and figure that out. You don't need to. All you need to do is not get stuck underneath the feet of elephants, right? So the business is going to change. And today we're going to be talking about that in our advanced trading class at 11 o'clock for people who want to learn just a little bit more so you can learn which tool to trade with at which time. So that'll be pretty cool. Hello, Juan. What's going on? What's up, Kevin? Al? Yeah, so we'll be talking about that. If people are interested, those on YouTube, we are having a free 3-day trial thingamajig at tradingsyndicate.org, where I am the head instructor, and a little advertising there. So, number one, we are going to open outside of yesterday's range. Hey, Christian, what's going on? It's been a while, my friend. Sorry I haven't been around. We're going to open on a gap, okay? Gap down, which means there's supply overhead. Now, I don't know if Raj, if you're listening, you're probably at the doctor with your mom. Now, Raj every weekend goes, you know what? It's going to gap up, and it does. Now, we're going to have to change things a little bit. Because you can see, we've been opening on a few gaps down. Inventory is 90% short, which means 90% of the volume and time is underneath yesterday's close. Now, 60 to 70% of the time, you get this move up to correct. So, hey, we'll give that a shot. If we hold the overnight low, we'll look for a move up, and the target will be the gap fill. Okay, that's the simplest trade out there, right? If you fail to take out the overnight low, you turn and do one of these, and your target is the gap fill. Now, the overnight low is at 74 quarter. The gap fill is up here. It's kind of high, right? It's not like a 10-point gap. It's going to be a fairly sizable gap. So it might not get there. Okay? Or it might have to go sideways down here to catch all of that inventory that's locked in over 6616 Well, how about we start with a look below and fail on the overnight low, right? As your basically your appetizer, right? And then think about a gap fill for the main course. But don't get too, because we've always been long biased, right? We're always long biased when we're in uptrend. And I've been saying now for a few days, actually a couple of weeks, that things are changing. Things are changing. Gaps to the downside aren't filling as quickly, right? And we could. Where's the August 25th low, Jam? I'm personally just keeping it simple, looking for 65.47. That's why the number is big, right? Do you see? I'm hoping you guys kind of get it. You see that number there where it's one of these things is bigger than the other, right? 65.47 is in a larger font than the other numbers, right? So yeah, you're 200 points lower, right? Which is cool for a longer term. But for the time being, let's see if we can get under 65.47. Because if we don't, then you all know what's going to happen. It will turn and rotate up. There will be more sellers this time, right? And I have a feeling that this area is working its way out. You might catch some stray moves. There were some moves in the Globex session where it was like you could tell that month end was coming. Like this move here. This move at 7 o'clock in the morning our time, where it was trading like 66.12, spiked all the way down to 6600, spiked all the way back up to 66.20, and then came right back to the middle. That is a speculative move. That's a month end. I can't say that. It's a month end type of thing that we call. And that just kind of gooses the markets. Some trader needed to get in or get out or make a little extra cash, and it worked. Okay? Yep. Month end again. And not only month end, end of the quarter. Now, what do I think of daily bias? I think it's great to have a bias. But let's not get married to it. Because oftentimes I have a bias. Like right now, usually I'm biased long, right? Because inventory's short. But there's something in the back that's stuck in my craw that's going, eh. And you know what it is? It's the chart. The chart is telling me, hey, idiot, there's sellers here. There's sellers here. There's sellers here. There's sellers here, 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 here. All the way up the ladder, there are sellers. That's what's keeping me from putting a long position together, right? Although trading it off of the levels works fine. That failed to look below when it hit 74. Our low was 74.25. My level was 74, right? So you buy a little here, put your stop under 74 and ride it up, right? Those trades work nicely. They're at the edge of cost basis. That's why I tell people, don't trade it here or here. Wait till you get to the edge because you get the best bang for the buck, right? You get the most response. Yeah, inventory is short. The entire overnight session is underneath. There's yesterday's close. All of the trading, probably about 90% of it, if not more, is trading under the close, so it's short. Lots of supply above us. And we're opening on a gap. When you open on a gap down, there's supply above. That's what's pushing price down, is people are being forced to sell at cheaper prices. Right? So, I don't know, just let the market open up. We'll look for some trades. I am of the opinion, or bias, that overnight low is going to get tested again. Right? I'm not going to be surprised if that overnight low gets tested again. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. I don't like surprises. That's one thing I did not like when I was retail trading. You start trading and then all of a sudden something and you're surprised and you're caught off guard. I hate that. So that's why I like to have a few scenarios. I use the levels to tell me, hey, are they going to sell here or are they not going to sell here, right? Because if they stop selling, it means, oh, they saw buyers. That's the only reason they stop selling and raise price. This is the only reason. There's no other reason to raise your price unless someone's willing to pay more, right? Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? I'm selling a car for 10 grand. Somebody's offering me 12. Do I say no, you can have it for 10? Well, if you do, and you're working on my car lot, guess what? You're fired. But, right? You know, it's just simple common sense business. So when you see price going up, when you see the offer moving higher, that's when you don't short it, right? You short it down, find the bid, and then cover. Yeah, we still have those single prints from the overnight, right? Yeah, cumulative delta is really, not to be rude, but it's not worth the toilet paper it's written on because most people don't even know what it means or how to interpret it. Right? Why would you need cumulative delta when you know where the sellers are? It adds nothing. It's great to look at, but if you know where the stops are and if you know where the buyers are, why do you need to complicate things? That's just me, right? Some people like looking at 25 monitors. I'm getting too old for that crap. So I just want to get in, out, make some money, and not complicate my life. Right? Most people don't even know. Sometimes cumulative delta is going up when the market's going down. That's because they're buying it on the bid. Right? If you're buying back a big short position on the bid, people would think the delta is going, up, but the price is going down. You just have one monitor now? That's hilarious. That's too funny. Right? And I don't use words like bullish. Of course, they're taking the market up because what happens before a store opens? Think about it, okay? Before a store opens, you want to try and get people a little excited so they come in and they jump off their wallet, right? That's what's going on now. It's 15 minutes before the market opens, before they open the door of the store. You want to drive all the buyers away? Or would you like them to pay more? Right? You don't need 16 monitors to make money. We know people who've made $1 billion trading who use one screen. You know. So now we know. Oh, what a mystery, right? You knew that there was going to be a seller up here. Boom, there they are. Hello. Right? There's inventory here. And there's a seller here. What a surprise. Yeah. Sadiq simplified one monitor, but it's 52 inches. That's too funny. So how does that give us practical information? If you know there's a seller underneath 94, you can short 92, put your stop at 94, and cover some at 88. Simple life, right? Unfortunately, in retail trading, they've sold everybody a bit of goods about all these order flow suite tools and all that stuff. It's all just snake oil, right? It's okay, make I don't mind. Let them make their money, right? But if you want to trade and make money without looking at 20 or 30 different things, learn how to focus on the offer. When the offer is going up, don't short it. So I know we were a little short biased. The market's telling us there's some buying before the open. And if we clear the 65.90, 697 area, your target will be, first it'll be 6,600 because there's a seller here. And then there'll be the front run of VWAP. Okay? Now, the gap fill is all the way up here at 66.16. Could it happen? Maybe. I don't know. Right? And there's something very liberating about saying, I don't know, because that way you don't get stuck in stubborn trades just because you don't want to be wrong. Right? That's why sometimes I say I don't know, because number one, I don't. Number two, by saying I don't know, I'm open to letting the market tell me what the hell is going on instead of being stubborn and wrong and losing all my money. Make sense? It's a simple business. So now a lot of people will be buying 94, 95, 96 because we're breaking out, right? We're breaking out over that 12 o'clock high. The large size traders who are long 82, 84, 86, 88, they are selling into this because size traders are taught to sell inventory into a breakout because buying is created by what we call the tire biters, right? The people who chase price higher. Now, if enough of those tire biters show up, we can really raise price over 97. So that's what you should be thinking when you look at the market. That's why they call it a failed breakout, because the size traders have used that opportunity of all these extra buyers buying the breakout to dump their inventory into that buying. That's how business works. Alrighty. So, still the sellers. They're still sellers. That's cool. Getting a bit of an idea of where the buyers and the sellers are in this market before the open. That's always handy. What's up, Badir? How you doing? So that's what I'm looking at, folks. I'm looking to see where the sellers step in, right? So this is a look above and fail of that 93 area that we looked at, right? So they had suckers for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then they had to put it on sale again. So if you are shorting this move up, well, your exits are here, the top of that candle and that one, right? And your warning level is here. So say you're short here at 92, 92 quarter. If we start offering above 94, then you know that you're probably going to start losing money on this trade. That way, at least you'll be informed so you're not, oh my God, it went back up to 95, right? You're not taken by surprise, right? Using simple common sense, if you know the seller here sees buyers, they'll raise price to here. And if those sellers see buyers, they'll raise price here. So if you're short, right? If you're short and the market starts taking out these levels, it means the sellers have seen buyers and your short is not going to work. See, but we looked and the highs are lower on all of these candles. So if you're short 92 and a quarter and your stop is 94, we went above your warning level and came back in. I'd go and sneak a little buy order here at 91 and a half. Right? Not the great, I sacrifice a contract there. So there's a fill. So you'll probably get a fill. And then your other contracts, you just want to scale them down like this. And then the market will tell you, because if it hits that one, great. If it gets down here and and it starts doing this, then you know to cover. So you use your orders to tell you if your trade is working, which is what you do in the real world, right? With business. right? You say you buy a bunch of inventory of something and you put it on sale and nobody buys it. And then you look around and you see that other people are selling it for less than you are. That's why they call it a market. Right? Overnight point of control moved up a little bit, so we got a little bit of distribution. The 65.87 product got sold at 92. Not bad if you were long 1,000 contracts, right? That's what wholesalers do. Now, what's the next order of business? Right? Because if we break, we're going to come back into this 88, 85 area. There's a little bit of where you see time and volume traded. Those are little positions. A big seller will break right through that and come down. But if it's just gentle selling, it'll pause, pause, and at one of these levels, it'll find a bid and do and move back up again. Yeah, Bitcoin's back underneath 70,000 again. Eh? Hmm. This Bitcoin thing's really turning to be an episode of Columbo. I don't know. I'm a buyer under 63,000. Till then, they can keep it. Hey, welcome folks on YouTube. Yeah, I'll be looking for that too, Sadiq. And if it doesn't happen, right? I know what you're looking for. Just always have the second part of your sentence, right? I'm looking for the sweep of the X low. But if that doesn't happen and inventory's 95% short, for the time being, we might make a rip over 97. Let's see, right? We still have 6 minutes before the open. You know, you could sink the Titanic in that amount of time. Or take down two clearing firms. All I'm saying is 6 minutes is a lot of time in this business. What else? What else? What else? How are the equity schmequities? Hey, MSTR is up $2, almost three. Tesla, 385. I'd like to see if Tesla can get down to that 357 level. Palantir sideways. Microsoft looking for the bid. Microsoft, yeah. 346 is what I'd look for in Microsoft. Leather jacket guy, back and forth, eh? 176. Big distribution balance there, but I don't know enough of that stock to call it. Crabapple right back down to its December, January lows. It is. If you notice, folks, we are in this kind of sideways, as Art Cashin would call it, we are right now trapped in the great washing machine. See, we've got all of this inventory above. Think of that as dirt, right? And we took the dirty laundry and we put it in the washing machine here, and we go like this and try and scrub all those dirty longs out before we can do this. Or we might have to do this and then do that. Let's see. That's why all these analysts are saying there's uncertainty. Nike? Huh. I have never looked at those stocks. Consumer stuff. Hell, they must be doing well. Frickin' pair of shoes is like 200 pounds over here. Oh, yeah. Is it? I don't know. These big shoe companies here in the UK, and they're full of people all the time. At least in Liverpool, you see people are spending money like crazy here. Oh, boy. Let's hope it's not this choppy off the open. That'll be pretty. That'll be pretty gnarly if it's this choppy off the open. Yeah, sometimes you can open the store and nobody comes. I still remember there was this lady in Miami, and my partner. I don't know if he actually paid her or if it was a scam because he turned out to be a Jesus. We paid her 100 grand for an email, and she was supposed to bring in at least 300 grand worth of buying. So wired her the 100 grand, nothing the next morning. Right? Oh yeah, it's gonna come in. We're gonna get all this volume. You can sell. I'm gonna bring in so much buying. Nothing. Not even one share traded. I'm like, oh man, we just got taken. Back in the days of email marketing, 100 grand for an email blast. Not one share of buying. Yes, it's legal. As long as you disclose that the email is being sent by somebody who's going to sell stock into your buying. Right? It's called Rule 17B disclosure under the Securities and Exchange Act of 1933. Yeah, because we figured 3 to 1, 4 to 1. You give her 100 grand, she brings in 400 grand worth of buying, right? We used to do fax marketing too. We had a guy in Texas who did fax marketing. Man, when he hit that fax, we sold millions of shares into those faxing. You guys don't even know what a fax is, half of you. Oh, we're open. Here we go. Hit the fax. All right. So we got a seller. We got a seller right off that open. 3 ticks. Kaboom. Right? Someone's got a heavy hand. Now remember, we are opening on a gap down. Okay, so there are going to be some margin issues, right? Some people will not want to pay their bill, and they will start getting sold out, right? These algos are pretty good. So let's see what happens here. Right, we stop short right where that stop is. Caught a little bit of a bid. Let's see, as we go up now, where are these bastards going to sell into it? Come on, show yourself. 2 more seconds. Okay, new candle's open. The top of this candle will show you where the sellers are going to step in. If the sellers see buyers, they'll raise price to 65.91 quarter. Watch. But if everybody starts selling, see, there's 91 quarter. Okay, so they got some buyers off the open. Now let's see. Can we get over the open? All the little mini traders will have their stop at the open if they're short. So if we can force that, it's like in football. When you force Brady out of the pocket, he's got to scramble, right? So can we force the scramble by taking that A high? That's what I'm looking for, right? Because if we do, all the tire buyers will start buying 94, 95, 96, and if you're long 89, you can, boom, just dump into it, right? Now they see they're already selling, right? That little white line where the sellers were, it's still being respected. So chop, so it's choppy, okay? We knew it was going to be choppy. Here we go, right? If it takes this, look for 96 quarter, 96 half. Let's see if they sell into it at 93 half. And lo and behold, yes, they will sell into it because they've got size. There you go. See? This is how you don't buy the highs. Because I told you when they try and take that, and when they got up there to 94, everybody just, boom, started dumping. Right? That was textbook. That's a textbook open, take it up, and then body slam the retail. Right? That's why the tire biters, they're buying 93, 94, looking for 99. Next thing you know, it's 86. They don't know what to do. Right? They're stunned. This way, right, if you were quick, you could have shorted it. I wasn't set up for the short. But, you would have been shorting 92, 93, stop at 95. Put some bids in at 88 and some at 85. So overnight inventory is short, and we are not correcting upwards because we got a wall of selling, right? Like wall of confusion. There's a wall of selling at 94. So we're going to have to take it lower and flush people out. Let's see. Next cost basis. Remember I said cost basis. Pause, pause, pause. Right? Those are like rest stops on the I-5, right? So I want to see where they sell into it up here. Looking for the seller. 88? 88 and a quarter? Maybe just here. Is Raj around? Is he? Yeah, there's some bids. So at times like this, when direction isn't clear, everybody wants to, hold trades longer. This is not really the kind of business where you hold trades longer. This is the kind of business where you scalp in and out, right? And if it does a look below and fail, or a fail to look below like it did here, that's where you can size up a little bit because you're getting the best deal at the edge, right? At the edge is where you're getting the best deal. Here you might get a little bit of a deal, a mini deal. But if you want to put some size into it, right? As Cat Williams says, hold on, wait a minute, let me put some pimping in it, right? If you want to do that, you want to do it from the edge, right? See how it's slowed down right where we knew it would? Time and volume, my friends. You don't need market profile. You don't need volume profile. All you got to do is pay attention a little bit. The 1 minute chart tells you everything, right? Point of control is right where that stop is. Boy, today, every time I've talked about something, the chart has just done exactly what I talked about. It's a very, very mechanical day. Oh, Cesar, this gets better over time. You're getting happy feet, right? Now, I'm not sure, Cesar, are you from the U.S.? So the term happy feet comes from a quarterback standing in the pocket when there's like six guys who are over 300 pounds charging to tear his head off. Sometimes he'll run out of the pocket. You're from Texas. Then great. Football is in the blood. It's like a religion, right? So yeah, you're just getting happy feet. You just need to, over time, your nerves will go down. And the more you learn the business, your nerves will go down. That will get better with practice over time. Yep. I figure Austin's got to be a cool place, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan, Gary Clark Jr. I mean, some seriously incredible musicians came out of that place. I've never been. All right, so right now we're in a chop between 83 and 88. So this is like when you go into the office and it's slow and everyone's kind of talking around the donut box, like, what did you do last night? What did you do last night? You know, the boss is a little spaced out. There's nobody coming in. The phone's not ringing. That's exactly what's going on, right? So not the greatest for us. You know, they're buying 85 to 82, selling 85 to 88. That's what wholesale's doing right now. We're not equipped to do that kind of business because we'll get killed in commission. So we can't do that kind of business. And the candles, the smaller the candles get, the slower the business is. Looking for 83. There's 83. Next area of a little bit of support should be around 78, 79. I'm very interested in 74. Well, there's a bid, right? A little short covering comes in. Little bit of a bid. I wasn't short that move. Now I got a little bit of a better idea about direction. You know, like Sadiq was saying, at this point, a look below and fail of 74, that overnight low, would be a beautiful trade. Till then, I don't really want to trade. You know, if you don't have to, I really want to wait for an edge. If it stays away from the edges, if I can get a sense of where everything is, then I can trade it. But right now, you know, that little voice is telling me wait for the edge. Yeah. You know, you don't want to fill up on bread when you're at like Delmonico's or Smith Wollensky. You don't want to fill up on bread. You've got a steak coming, right? Let's see. That was a big green short covering candle that we just had. The thing, what am I forgetting though? What I'm forgetting is that overnight inventory is about 95% short. So it's trading, it did trade to the downside, but not heavy to the downside. And there's that area that we said, right? We said 79, 79 and 3/4. There you go. We found the bid. Ugh. Okay, now I got to get disciplined. Where's the trading DOM? So we know we've got a seller under 88. Whoa, okay. What did I miss? I missed the size of the candles. So that's what I've got to up my game a little bit here. Okay? Got to up my game a little bit. I'm not as dialed in as I should be. So now if we stay over 89.90, we'll go tickle that 94 area. See, the problem is right at that level, all the people who are long 85 are selling the 90s. If they see buyers, they'll raise their offers. Now let's see. There's a 91/4 print. Next seller will be right here. They've been there here, here, here. So they'll be there again. And this time if we crack that open and we take out that high at 94 and then the one at 96 and change, right? It'll give us there, see? The oomph up to VWAP. So it was a fade, a cleanup, shakeout, got the cheap stuff, and now they sold it right into strength. Nice move. Did I trade it? No. Why? Because I'm moving in slow motion. So I need to work on my discipline. Right? Sometimes you just, I've traded a couple of micro trades this morning, not that many. And just off the opening sequence, seeing that, failure to take out the overnight low, right? Failure to take out that stop, hit that little pocket of volume. Those were all signs for me to get long. That I said out loud, but I didn't act on. I anchor my VWAP from the Globex Open. So from 6 o'clock New York time. It's where most of the popular trading programs anchor their VWAP. That's why everybody executes there. See? 6601. There it is. Now, if we get enough people trapped short under 97, we'll move over VWAP and we'll be looking for where the next seller is. And they will be right there and there. Yeah, I would have gotten out way too soon in that move too. Jeez. So somebody got really short under 97. Sadiq, remember when I said, what am I forgetting? I was looking down, but what was I forgetting? Inventory was short. And remember at the beginning of the session, we also said it might take some time to clean it out before we start to correct inventory. And that's exactly what's going on. Okay, so I just have to get better at my execution because right now it sucks. I've just been lazy. Frickin' lazy, man. That's brutal. Right. Let's try a 6 short, 5 cover. Yeah. Got one. Scratch the second. If we can stay over 8, 9, there's a decent chance of a gap fill. The seller's at 8.5. Okay. Seller's at 8.5. Try shorting the 6s and the 5s. See if I can cover some at 3. Ugh. God damn, it's sticky. Nope. Scratch. At least we found the bid. So I've taken 2 trades ever since I noticed that my discipline was kind of lacking. Just checking out to see whether my brain is working. And while it is, my executions aren't the greatest. Long 7, my friends. Long 7 on 2. I'm out at 12. Brain is finally working. Right? But it took a while. It took a while. But when you're aware that you're trading like crap, you can try and compensate for it instead of trading into a hole. Does that make sense? Does that help you guys out? In the room. Right? When you're trading and you understand that you're not trading well, you can adapt, change. Instead of just trading yourself into a hole and blowing the account or blowing the eval, right? You catch yourself, right? And you trade small, right? The first thing I did when I said I'm not disciplined because I'm missing some obvious trades, right? And it's nothing more than me just being lazy. There's no excuse. It's just lazy, right? So I recognize myself now, try and get in there and do a couple of small transactions and see, okay, I'm lazy, but is my brain working, right? First couple of times, not so much, right? Bring more of your A game. This way, if you are managing, this is how you're managing yourself in the business. This is practical trading psychology that you can use before you lose all your money. Could be a little burnt out. This kind of price action, Leslie, it's going to be a tiring month. March usually is. March and April, after everybody, did you guys see what I put up on bonus season? Right, bonus season is now over. All these guys have been paid in the first quarter, and girls, right? They had record bonuses. So now things are going to they need to pick up those positions again, but they need to shake this market a little lower, right? Need to get some cheap paper, like they used to say in the old days, right? Yes, you show your clients a deal. Hey, look at the stock. It's trading like $25 million a day at $5. Isn't it beautiful? And they're like, the first thing my clients would say is, can we get some cheap paper? It's at 5. Can we get some stock at 2? I'm already short 100,000. Right? Another thing, I had this one guy, man, he was a cretin. Right? He was hilarious. Smart as hell, but a cretin. He would go and build a short position in a company, and then he'd have me go to the company and ask them if we could buy a block of stock on behalf of an investor that was serious about the well-being of the company. And that way he could cover his short. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Takes all kinds. A little distribution here, my friends. Over VWAP. So caught a little bit of that move. Now, let's see. Am I disciplined enough to keep the little bit of money that I made? Or am I going to just jump right back in? Let's see what happens here. I'm looking for the seller, right? I'm looking for that gap fill. I think I'll let other people work this out, right? I don't know if that's going to happen. It kind of feels like it is, but I don't want to. I don't really want to. I'll let somebody else figure that out. What I'd like is a move up a move back down, and then a move back up over the previous day low up to that stop. That would be a nice trade. Right? The close is all the way up here at 41. So there's a gap fill on the table. Now let's see. If enough people short, see, they're going to, boom, gap is filled. So there you go, Sadiq. Gap is filled. Now if you're selling that gap fill short, I'd wait until it comes back under 14.25. Boom, there's the seller. So if you got that seller there and you're short 14, you want to cover kind of quick. Come down. There we go, flat. All right, so I shorted 13.75, covered 12. Not the greatest trade. Still a little slow, right? But I was shorting the gap fill. Shorting the gap fill, my stop was really up here. Not the greatest risk reward. Now in a normal market, we'll come back down to 66.09. So if you were short 13.12 down to 9, that's not bad. Right, there you go. Right, that's shorting the gap fill. It's a quick market, Pollux. Fast hands, my friend. So we did get a little bit of lower action for a while. Now if we stick that previous day low, 16.5, your target trade is going to be 23.22. It's got to hold 17. So if you're long and you're long here, I mean, your stop is really 16. I'd like to see it go underneath, come down, and then come back up. Tell me that sell order at 17. See? Aha! See, had I bought it 17, 18, I would be getting stopped out now. And that's what I always do. I am on. Wait a minute. Can nobody hear me? Quick little short. Right back up. Okay. Sometimes you guys are so quiet I don't even know. Right? It feels like I'm talking to myself. Uh, and back underneath that previous day low. That's cool. So there is a little bit more selling than there usually is, right? We knew that was going to happen. So if you are taking longs, just make sure you get in and out. You know, and that's what we're going to be talking about, this kind of thing, in exactly 1 hour in the tradingsyndicate.org room, where our goal is to really, really help people make a living. Because these markets are very, very unforgiving. So what does it mean, Sadiq, if you can't get back to VWAP after breaking up? Tells you about the bid, right? Good observation, my friend. Good observation. No, not supply is limited. The buyers are there. So that's that short bid. So you've been away for a while. That short bid, the people who short under VWAP in cost basis are the ones who hold the price above VWAP when we're distributing, right? Because the wholesalers come down to that short bid and go, oh, there the shorts are trapped. Okay, let's, they say, this is what I used to do, right? If I knew you were trapped at 66.10, when I'd get to 66.10 and I know that you need to buy 1,000 contracts, I'll sell you 50 or 100. If I don't like you, I'll sell you 25 and say I got nothing for sale at 10. And you're going to have to pay 10 and a half. And I can maybe sell you 200. You still need to buy 800 back. This is all happening electronically now, so quick it makes your head spin. But that's what used to happen in the old days. So when you know someone is trapped, you have a moral obligation to take advantage of them. And that's what these algos are doing. They're doing it very well. They're doing it very well. Right? So they're just teasing you with product, and then they raise the price. So you chase. But that's the beauty of business. Now we're coming all the way back to VWAP. See? See, the shorts are seeing size, so they're backing off. Boom, 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 boom. So say you're short at 8, 7, buy a little back at 2, put some bids just above 6,600, see if you can get tagged. If you can't, go cover. Just trade it back and forth. Nice and simple, right? Look at that bid at VWAP. Boom. Short cover. Hello. Do gaps always fill? No. No, they don't always fill, unfortunately. It all depends on if the business to close the gap or fill the gap is there. Sometimes the business is not there. Sometimes in this market, we have gaps from months ago that we haven't filled on the way up. We have gaps from months ago. There's gaps from COVID that haven't filled. Jesus. Oh, this market. Yeah, you got to be on the right. You got to be careful in this market, my friends. They told us that there was a bid there, so hopefully nobody was short under 8 and 10 when that just happened. But that's what caused that big green candle. Staying above the previous day low is going to target that stop, but I think we're going to come down and check out the 14s again. Let's see what we can put together for trades. I'll wait for the next candle. I don't like buying breakouts, but if the buying is there, I'll buy the breakout. I'll clip in and out of it. I don't care. I'd prefer to buy it if we get over 16, 16 and a half. Because that's where that previous day low is. And it tells me where the seller is. You see? A look below and fail of 14 quarters, okay, but you got to be fast on the sell, right? Because there's going to be a seller at that previous day low. Now we're over that previous day low, right? If we hold it, it's going to go back and forth and tell us what that price action is Ugh, I screwed up my entry. I'm long 17. I sold one at 18 and a quarter, another one at 18 and a quarter. You know what? I can't get more than 18 and a quarter. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. There's a seller. All right. This is the thing. Every time you get close to a breakout, the size traders sell into it. So if you're not fast buying and selling, don't do it, Len. You know, you got to be quick. Because if you know everybody and his dog is going to sell a certain level, and you want to take a breakout trade into that level, well, it doesn't really make sense, does it? Unless you're really fast. And then that's okay. But better trade is if we can't get over 16, look for a short when we get accepted under 14. That might happen. But inventory is still frickin' short, which is a pain in the butt. Oop. That's what's giving us that bid. And all those idiots that are short under 4 and 2, excuse me, are holding it up. Before we get to VWAP, Attila. Before. Right? Front run. You want to sneak it out before, if that helps. Because you know they're going to be, or if you're short and you're covering, you want to cover before. No problem. No problemo. Good question. I'm not going to trade heavy today. Oh, remember, I'm going to sign off in about 10 minutes. All right, we'll see what this thing cooks up. And if it goes sideways here between 14 and 20, then look for the 25s. Because price stability brings in buyers. There's under 14. Let's see here. Short 12, covering 9s. One left. Boom. That's the trade I was talking about. Remember I said if it comes under 14, you short? So I shorted the 12s. My stop was 14, and I covered 10 and 9. Not bad. Not bad. Could be worse. Right? In and out, quick trades, low stress environment, and now just chill. And there it is to 8.5. So discipline a little better. Good stuff, Charles. Good stuff. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I tell you, I caught another cold. It's crazy. It's affecting my stamina. Don't get old. It's like my building. There's always like somebody getting sick in this building. This short bid is annoying. The short bid is really annoying because just when you think it's going to run, kaboom. Yeah, size down. Just size down. Size down until you get a feel of it, TBD. It's like, you know, in those old dance clubs, like they'd be playing like heavy metal and they'd play a slow song and then they play some rap, right? So the beat's always changing in this market. So give it a little, give it a little time. Size down and kind of get to know it. Because it's going to change. Because, you know, it changed a few times already in the last 23 hours. It went from slow, big candles, slow, big candles. That's the kind of market we're dealing with. There's no, what do they say, continuity of order flow. But the good thing is it's mechanical as hell. Look at it. You can see the clear accumulation and distribution zones. Now we kind of understand how it held 74. That's a big sign, right? And when it came down to retest it an hour and a half later, right? Bid's still there. Market makers know if they don't close the quarter higher, it will be a major bear market the next 3 to 6 months. Yeah, that makes sense there, Braden. Why not, right? But I do welcome a little bit of a flush, you know? Right? If we don't close this thing up over 66.61 on month end, right? If we close under 66.21, we're going to be in this little blue box. And we are going to go test 64.85. Right? Because look at everyone's trapped long above. Look. That is trapped long inventory. And if you don't know what trapped long is, it means you own it up there and you're stuck. You're trapped. Yeah, very clear zones, eh, Christian? Here we go. Here comes the sun. Let's see if we get that seller to come in. Where these old stops that we took on the way up, there might be some bids. There might be some bids here at 66.07 and then here and here on the way down because there'll be people trapped short in these areas and they'll be bid to cover. Huh. Point of controls all the way up here. Nice. Good distribution. Look, if you had bought product, if you had sized in the overnight here, right? Size traders doing well. That's good. Right? Nice distribution. Anyway, I want to thank you folks for being with us. I want you to come into the trading syndicate if you want to learn how to do this and learn how to make a living and not spend hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars while you're learning. Right? We'll teach you. Right? All you got to have is the ability to learn and pay attention, and we can do the rest. We have a 3-day free trial. It's tradingsyndicate.org. And thank you very much for being with us. Remember, 11 o'clock today in the trading room, we will be having our advanced trading strategies class. Thanks, everyone. Stay out of trouble out there, okay? Don't take candy from strange market makers. And we'll see you at 11 Eastern Time. Bye for now.